Let's dive into a truly remarkable story of ancient globalization, one you probably never learned about in school. We're going back 2,000 years to uncover a massive trade route that secretly connected two of the world's greatest superpowers, the Roman Empire and the ancient kingdoms of southern India. And this wasn't just some small-time exchange. We're talking about a huge, sophisticated economic network that literally changed the course of history. So where do we start? Well, we start with a complaint, a really big one. Around 77 AD, a Roman historian named Pliny the Elder was looking at the empire's books, and he was not happy. He saw a catastrophic drain of wealth just pouring out of Rome and heading east. His frustration just screams off the page, right? This wasn't a small leak. It was an economic crisis all fueled by Rome's obsession with foreign luxuries. This one quote right here, it sets the stage for a trade so immense, it was bleeding the most powerful empire on earth of its gold and silver.
All right, so what on earth could possibly be worth bankrupting an empire for? Let's take a look at what the Romans were so desperate to get their hands on.
Well, the answer, in a word, is luxury. For the Roman elite, these goods were the ultimate status symbols. You've got black pepper, which was, believe it or not, often more valuable than gold by weight. It was everywhere, in their food, their medicine, even their religious rituals. You've got fine muslin from India, so incredibly delicate they called it woven air. And we're talking about everything from pearls and precious gems to ivory and even exotic animals like parrots and peacocks. This wasn't just about having nice things. This was about showing off your power, your wealth. And the demand? It was just absolutely off the charts. Okay, so the demand is there. But actually getting these goods? Yeah, that wasn't easy. It meant a really dangerous journey across thousands of miles of open ocean. So, how in the world did Roman merchants pull off what was, honestly, one of the greatest logistical feats of the ancient world? They had a guide, and it's this incredible document, the Periplus of the Erythraean Sea. It was, and I love this, basically the ancient world's Lonely Planet guide for merchants. It was written by some anonymous Greek sea captain, and it wasn't some flowery piece of literature. No way. This was a practical nuts and bolts handbook. It told you which ports to visit, who was in charge, what to buy, what to sell, and most importantly, it held the secrets to navigating the massive Indian Ocean. Using these huge, specially built ships like the one you see here, Roman sailors, who, by the way, were known in India as the Yavanas, they learned to master a powerful force of nature. And this knowledge would completely revolutionize the trade. They weren't just going to hug the coastline anymore. They were about to shoot straight across the open sea. Their secret weapon, the monsoon winds. This was the ultimate hack for ancient sailors. See, before this, the journey was this slow, dangerous crawl along the coast that could take forever. But by figuring out the seasonal wind patterns, Roman captains could leave Egypt in July, ride the powerful southwest monsoon straight across the Arabian Sea in about 40 days, and land in India by the fall. They do their trading for a few months, then catch the northeast monsoon for a quick trip back home. It turned a years-long trek into a predictable annual superhighway on the sea. So picture this. These Roman sailors, the Yavanas, finally arrive after this epic journey. Their ships just loaded with treasure. What do they find? Well, their destination was the booming port cities of Tamilakam, the ancient Tamil country in what's now South India. You know, there's a line from an ancient Tamil poem that just nails it, that perfectly captures the whole deal. The Yavanar arrived with gold and went back with pepper. Just listen to the balance in that phrase. It's not talking about conquest or colonization. It's talking about commerce. This was a meeting of equals, a sophisticated business deal that was good for both sides. The Yavanars show up with gold, and they leave with pepper. Simple as that. And it was absolutely a vibrant two-way street. Into bustling ports like Muziris on India's west coast, the Romans were bringing chests packed with gold and silver coins, of course, but also Italian wine in those famous clay jars called amphorae, beautiful glassware, and raw metals like lead and tin. And in return, they filled their ships to the brim with that legendary Malabar black pepper, precious pearls, gems, and all the other incredible luxuries that Rome was just dying to have. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds amazing, but how do we really know it's not just a collection of tall tales from old books and poems? Well, the proof is literally buried in the ground. Archaeologists have actually excavated these ancient port cities, like Archimedu, and what they found there is just mind-blowing. The ruins of a massive trading hub, complete with huge warehouses. And, scattered all over the place, thousands and thousands of pottery fragments. But not local pottery.
We're talking pieces of Roman wine jars, fancy red Roman tableware, and Roman glass. This was a truly global city, a physical testament to this trade network. But the real clincher, the most compelling evidence of all, it comes down to cold, hard cash. Hoards containing thousands and thousands of Roman gold and silver coins, mostly from emperors like Augustus and Tiberius, have been dug up all across South India, exactly where the history books said this trade was happening. This is the physical proof of that river of gold Pliny was complaining about. But here's where it gets really weird. As archaeologists looked closer at these coins, they noticed something odd. A lot of them had been intentionally damaged, slashed with a chisel or a knife right across the emperor's face. And this wasn't from wear and tear. No, this was deliberate. Which, of course, begs the question, what's the deal here? Why on earth would you systematically deface the currency of your biggest trading partner? What was the point of these slashes?
Well, historians have a few really compelling theories. One is pretty simple. Maybe it was just a quick way to check that the coins were solid gold or silver, not just fakes with a cheap metal core. Another idea is that it was a way to decommission them, basically to say this isn't the emperor's money anymore, it's now just a chunk of valuable metal, raw bullion. Or, and this is my favorite theory, it could have been a powerful political statement by local Tamil kings, a way of saying your emperor has no authority here, this is our land. And all of this, especially the money, brings us right back to where we started, with Pliny the Elder and his dire warning about what this trade was doing to Rome's economy. Let's try to wrap our heads around this number. 50 million sesterces a year. Okay, so a Roman legionary, a professional soldier, made about 900 sesterces a year. That means the money flowing to India every single year could have paid the salaries of over 55,000 legionaries. That is a staggering, mind-boggling amount of wealth pouring out of the empire. So what this really means is that the balance of trade was just massively in India's favor. I mean, think about it. The Tamil kingdoms were trading renewable resources like pepper, which literally grows on vines every year, for something finite, Roman gold and silver, which you have to dig out of the ground. While Rome got its fancy spices, the kingdoms of South India were steadily piling up the Roman Empire's actual wealth. And this brings us to one final, really provocative thought. We so often see ancient history through a Roman lens, right? With Rome as the center of the universe. But when one side is trading things that grow back for finite treasure, and the other side is complaining about going broke, it forces us to ask a totally different question. In this 2,000-year-old story of globalization, who was truly calling the shots?